Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. Today is February 18th, 2016. It's for the Environmental Conservation Board. We have an agenda that we're going to follow. We have 5 members of the panel on. The only 2 missing are Vince and Mark. First item is going to be Ronald Hoffman, 290 Westlake Boulevard, tax map 6416-1-21, convert existing deck into sunroom. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. Please state your name and who you're representing.
My name is Peter Geyer. I'm representing Dr. Ronald Hoffman.
Okay. We have no comments or questions from the public. You're going to have, before we issue you the permit, you're going to have to post an escrow of $500. We'll do the EAF, and then we have to sign the permit. Were there any changes to the application since the last meeting?
No.
No. Okay. So with that, can somebody want to make a motion to grant wetland permit for 290 Westlake Boulevard?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, you got the permit. See, go to the office on, I think tomorrow or Monday, $500. You can pick up the permit, you could sign it, we'll fill out the EAF, and then you're good to go.
All right, great, thank you so much.
Just call the wetland inspector. I think that was one of the things to have him out there before and after you start, just to make sure everything was cleaned up.
With the silt fence and such,
You don't have to put the silt fence up,
Okay.
because you have enough growth there.
so what's he gonna look for?
Just to make sure it's clean, nothing's floating in the
Oh,
lake.
all right, okay.
Okay?
All right, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck, Peter.
All right, thanks.
Good luck. You too.
Night.
Okay, will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adoption land use plan or zoning regulations?
No.
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 Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land? No.
No.
Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? No.
No.
Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area?
No.
Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway?
No.
No.
Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservations or renewable energy opportunities? No. Will the proposed action impact existing public-private water supplies or public-private wastewater treatment facilities?
No.
Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No.
No.
Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources, example, wetlands, water bodies, air quality, fauna or flora?
No.
Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No.
No.
Will the proposed action create a hazard to the environment, resources, or human health? No.
No.
Okay. Okay, that one's all done. He's good to go. Next item, Lobel Ferry Island LLC, 8 Ferry Lane, 75.8-1-53. Construct a 16 by 40 pool with spa, retaining wall, pool terrace, and pool equipment.
It's very.
Could you please state your name and who you're representing?
Certainly. My name is Peter Gregory. I'm with Keen Koppelman Gregory Engineers in Mount Kisco. We are the project engineer for this application, and our office has worked with IQ Landscape Architects, who developed our planting and mitigation plan for the application.
Hold on. Just give us 1 second. Here, that's the partial package. Here's a full package. I'll share with you. You want?
Done. See here.
That's the planting plan. He has the construction drawings.
This is the same thing?
Construction drawings.
Same document. Yeah.
So the plan that, the first sheet that you have in your construction set is our existing conditions. This application is for a wetland permit for the construction of the pool, associated terrace, equipment pad, and stormwater mitigation. The project address is 8 Ferry Lane. 8 Ferry Lane is a developed piece of property. It's located on the north side of Ferry Lane, right on Lake Mayapack. The site is developed. It's about a ½ acre in size, and it does currently have single-family home, asphalt driveways. There's an upper and lower asphalt driveway, lawn areas, a boat slip, dock, and a little beach area. And the application is to construct a swimming pool in an existing landscaped bed area adjacent to the house. This is the aerial photograph showing the site, existing house here, upper driveway. There is a lower driveway that wraps around the northern side of the house, boat slip, terrace areas. And there's a landscaped bed. Probably changes in height about 10 or 12 feet from the upper driveway down to the lawn area in the back of the house.
It's about a 5-foot grade, right?
It's steeper than that.
10 to about 10.
70.
Those are 1-foot contours, so it's about a 10-foot change, 10, 11-foot change in grade from the upper parking area down to the lawn area, which is to the rear of the property.
Right.
For the most part, the majority of the work and the disturbance associated with this is going to be located within a 100-foot regulated area to the setback to the lake. And what we're looking to do is to construct that pool in that landscaped area, as I mentioned. And within that area, we are proposing a pool that is 16 by 40, creating an impervious surface of approximately 1,700 square feet in that area. The area of disturbance associated with this work is approximately 8,000 square feet. 7,700 of it is within that regulated area. And what we're looking to do is to shelf out that area to create the terrace about 3 feet in elevation higher than the lawn area in the back. We'll create a pad. It will require the construction of a retaining wall on 3 sides. And the rear, up against the driveway, would incorporate 2 walls, a 7-foot high wall, a planting bed, and then a new wall behind it, which is 10 feet in height. We feel that while there is a planting bed there with maybe about a foot of material, there probably is ledge rock just beneath the surface there. And we've estimated approximately 200 cubic yards of material would have to be removed from that area.
You did soil testing, or you did?
Not yet.
Wells?
Not yet. There is exposed rock. If you're out there and looking at it, you'd see it kind of poking through. And based on what we're looking at up on top, we're pretty sure that we're going to encounter rock in that area.
You need a zoning board approval?
No, I do not believe we do. We're maintaining a 10-foot separation to the property line.
Need to verify that.
Yeah, that's shown on the plan. We are showing a 10-foot offset on our site plan. And I should mention that we did have a pre-application with the town engineer, Mr. Franzetti, just to discuss what the issues would be associated with this work. We've kept the retaining walls, the equipment pad, the pool, the terrace, outside of our 10-foot side yard setback.
Okay, right off the bat, you need to show the 100-foot buffer on the plan.
I think we are showing that. It's, it might be hard to read, but there is should be a dark dashed line that's running up through the asphalt driveway and then through the lawn area between the trees.
Is it marked 100-foot marker, or?
It says,
Yeah,
there's a
100-foot
dimension
regulated
line,
setback.
Oh, you see
100-foot
that?
regulated
I don't see that.
setback.
Right in the center, going across the,
Oh, there it is.
I got
Okay.
you. Oh,
So it's in
right
that, so
here.
you are within the 100-foot buffer. Okay,
100%.
So even our construction access, the plan is to come around the side, work our way down.
And you're gonna use a heavy equipment, obviously.
They're gonna have to, yes.
Okay.
There's probably gonna be, probably some hammering to remove that material, depends on, again, what type of stone, that material they find in there. And what we've tried to come up with is a plan that would try and minimize the disturbance as much as possible. We are proposing a 10-foot access to wrap around the side of the property to come down to the lower area. And what we were looking to do is to create maybe a 3-foot high, 3-foot wide earthen berm at the base of that area to almost act as a barrier to the lake.
Would you seed it?
Well, I think it's just gonna be temporary. You know, I think that the plan is they would like to start this work and have it completed before Memorial Day. I guess they like to entertain out here. So it's gonna be an aggressive schedule to do this work. So the idea would be that while they're doing that earthwork material, there would be that berm and barrier that would be up in the lawn. We are proposing a rain garden adjacent to that, but that would be set up as maybe a temporary sediment basin in that area to capture anything as a further measure to protect the lake. And then as they were to pull out of this area and restore it, the berm would be removed, and then we would talk about our mitigation, screening, our plantings, and then stabilizing our rain garden area.
All right, right off the bat, you need to provide us with a spill kit on site. Has to be shown on the plans,
Spill kit?
spill kit. Should have to show a fueling area for equipment and how you're going to do that. Your stockpile, I don't mean to cut you off, but these are just things that
Sure.
glaring.
We're trying to keep everything up on top. All the
can I ask you, where are you relocating the oil tank?
We're trying to put that, there is a mechanical room that's located in the basement. This is a walkout basement, and there's a mechanical room on the lower level. We're looking now to see if we can relocate that tank inside the house.
Okay.
And if that's possible, then it would come off of that sloped area, and
It's
then
buried underground, this tank?
yeah, I believe it is, yeah. There's like a little enclosure for it there, covered.
If that's a buried tank, you're gonna have to follow, you're gonna follow the DEC protocols for a tank removal, right? I mean, it's only $275, it's a non-regulated tank, but the tank's gonna be pumped out, removed, disposed. I'm gonna need to see a copy of the scrap ticket for the tank and the oil. That can be provided to us upon completion. What size is that tank?
I'm not, off the top of my head, I'm not sure.
You gotta let us know the size of the
Sure.
tank. It's if you put a new tank in, you can transfer most of the fuel from the existing tank into the new tank. And then the remaining has to be disposed of as non-haz waste. I've done 2 of them.
So I guess regarding that, we do have to, if you're going to be doing that, we have to be very careful about, do we want to put any extra provisions in there regarding spillage?
Well, let's start with the tank first. Can we just flip this page? They also have lines that are gonna be, you have lines that run from that tank to the house. Those are gonna
Probably, yes.
obviously have to be taken out, blown back, And again, depending on what you find there, I'd like to have the town wetlands inspector out there when you're pulling that tank. I don't know if that's under his jurisdiction, but before you keep digging, if you find any contamination,
Okay.
it's in everybody's best interest.
Would that be something that we would notify the
Probably
building
notify
department
the-
prior to construction, that we're getting ready to do something and we want to set up a meeting out at the site?
Well, this is gonna obviously get building department approval. You would have to, you'd go through Rose.
Okay.
You'd call the office. So on your plan here, you're gonna put a note on here, you're gonna identify the size of the tank and, remove all existing lines, suction return lines. And then upon removal of the tank, you're gonna provide me with copies of the manifest for the the tank disposal, as well as the sludge disposal. That could just be an email, a scan, that's fine. Just wanna verify that it's going to a regulated facility.
Okay.
That's all I'm looking for. It's not for a closure or anything, it's just that we know it went away correctly. Okay?
Okay.
That takes care of your oil tank. Then the next thing you need to add on to these drawings, just from a cursory review right now, you need to provide us with, I know you're saying you're putting in a rain garden in the corner before the lake for that. So what you need to do is you need to calculate the amount of disturbed area. You're saying, I think it's 7,700 square feet.
We show it on the plan right now. We show the total area of disturbance and the area within the regulated area.
You have to take your calculations, and based on the calculations, you need to size the rain garden according to the
State.
the disturbed areas. You have to submit those calculations with your planting schedule for approval to the town engineer
That's not a problem.
prior to the work. But we'd like to see that on the plans.
Do you want the calculation on the plan? Not a problem. And just so you know, the rain garden is based on the amount of impervious surface. At 1,700 square feet of impervious surface, I believe that our surface area for our rain garden is about 325 square feet. So we can provide that information out
But
here.
that's your impervious surface.
Yes,
Your disturbed surface is the 7,700 square feet, which is excavating that entire excavation, right?
yes,
So you're removing 7,700 square feet of material. That's your disturbed surface.
okay,
And the 1,700 is the lesser number, right? Because that's what your impervious is at the end. So give me the number based on 7,700,
not a problem. We can work on that for you.
all right?
Sounds correct to me.
The pool, the terracing.
The earthen berm, this is gonna be installed with existing material there? You're gonna bring in material just to build up a 3-foot-high berm?
I think I'd like to use the material that's there. We're not looking to bring anything in because there's material leaving.
Just, that's like more of a disturbance, okay? How about another line, just, you know, I don't know the benefit of an earthen berm out there with runoff, and looks like you're gonna create like more silt running down. I mean, that's a good shot coming off this elevation.
It's on the other side of the silt fence. Here's your silt fence, here's your berm. So it's running right there. So what you're gonna do is,
Put another silt fence,
Yeah.
wouldn't make an earthen berm. Just make another silt fence. a
We could
double
put
silt
a
fence.
double row of silt
Yeah.
fence
And
in that
remove
area in
the
lieu
earthen
of the
berm
earth.
is
We can
not-
do that.
yeah, I'd like to
Doesn't
have
seem
another
like it
row of
has
silt
any-
fence.
Any benefit,
Now, let me ask you another question. He's working over here.
yeah.
Do we wanna have a silt fence over?
Is this
between
grading off this
properties?
way? I don't have a photo, but.
The area
Topo
from the
says that.
pool, if I'm looking at the lake, the right-hand side of the pool, that slopes towards the
To
neighbors?
the south, or to the, to the east, excuse me.
Everything kind of tends to
Go towards the
to
lake.
your left, toward the lake. Yeah, it's relatively level, but that neighbor's property is a little bit higher on the property line.
It is higher?
Yes, it is.
Okay, because if it's lower, what I'd like to do, to be quite honest with you, I would like to encapsulate the work area with a silt fence.
We can show that wrapping around. There's a row of evergreens there. We'll keep the double row of silt fence In front
Side
of the evergreens.
Right. So put a double row of silt fence between the pool and the lake, okay? From property line to where you show it, double row, and then up the side and down the back, a single row of silt fence. Again, if the property to the right is higher, and you don't think, just,
We'll bring it around, we'll at least bring it until until the slope starts to climb up toward the front. We can bring it right to that toe of that slope. That's not a problem.
You're gonna use a wire back silt fence?
yeah, they show
yes.
detail.
Okay, good. Isn't it? Good.
I think another thing we're gonna need is a construction sequence. I didn't see one.
Yes. You also need to provide us with a construction sequence.
Yes, we have prepared one. It's part of our SWIP report, being that we're over 5,000 square feet, we had to prepare it. But we wanted to see if there were any changes that we would have to make before we finalize that. But
Well, we
that's-
would need to see the SWIP also. So that you may want to get us by the next meeting, because figure, you know, if you, depending on how you come, if everything works out for next meeting, we still have to look at the SWIP, and we have to, then we'll go on a clock, and you're looking 30 to 60 days on the clock, depending if you have any comments. So, you know, if you, just letting you know, things you need to
There's a,
do.
there's a stormwater pollution prevention plan acceptance form.
We submitted that as part of our paperwork. That was on the list of required paperwork for that. I think at the point that the town engineer, whoever the stormwater management officer designated individual is, once they review the plans and the report, if it's acceptable, then they can sign that form, which then it would be forwarded to the state for coverage under the general permit.
Well, if it's over 5,000 now, you gotta send this to the state, right?
Yes, we do. Once the town engineer, I'm assuming it's gonna be the town engineer who would review this. If it's acceptable, then yes, we would forward it to the state.
Okay.
So the construction sequence, just for your knowledge as well, we also want to see in there, in things like installing silt fence before beginning of work, getting our wetlands inspector out there, and at the end of it, also calling our wetlands inspector back to make sure it's all.
Stable.
Have you met with our wetlands inspector yet?
No, I
for this?
haven't.
Okay, what you're gonna do is, why don't you set up a meeting with Rose and have Klotzel go out there, you know, while you're preparing this plan, because he may say the silt fence is not required on one side, but it's, just let him get a figure for the lay of the land. Then once the silt fence is installed, before you start putting shovel to ground, he's gonna have to look at it. And then upon completion, he's gonna have to look to make sure everything is good.
And our office would have to make that final inspection also to prepare a notice of termination that would go to the state, and we
Right.
have to make sure that the site is restored and stable at that point.
All right, the other question I have is the Ferry Drive, you're gonna be bringing in large trucks, I assume, and that is capable of handling large trucks?
Will the bridge handle the trucks?
Right,
Well, I can't answer that, but I can tell you that the pool contractor that's doing this work did the pool across the street recently, I guess, and
You
that's
run
how.
on the north end of the infinity pool?
I believe it was constructed by Shoreline Pools.
Yeah.
And I guess they were referred to LaBelle's, so I'm assuming that they were able to do that. That's the best way I can answer that.
What's the pool made out of? What's the pool made out of? What kind of pool is it?
It's gonna be a gunite pool.
It's gunite, so you're gonna have a concrete truck in there as well, huh? Okay.
Do you know how long ago that other pool was installed? Any idea?
I'm gonna say within the past couple of years,
Okay.
maybe.
I don't remember.
I'm not even
Is
sure.
that the infinity pool you're talking
is.
about? Okay.
10
That's
years
been
ago.
more than a couple of years, yeah.
I had a chance to see it. We
Yeah, it's been
we
quite
walked
a
through.
while.
You also need to provide, since you're using a gunite, you need to provide us with the location of your concrete washout. Right?
Infinity.
What is your patio made out of? Is that the pink area there on your drawing?
Yes, I think right now it's gonna be a bluestone. And that could change. I can confirm that with once they have the final design for that, I guess, in the material. But we did show what a typical section would be for the installation of that on our detail sheet.
Okay. Is it a dry laid or is it,
I
it
think
is
it's dry laid.
Yeah.
There might be, it's a dry laid with maybe something little.
between the joints?
Yes.
And your staging area would be next to your stockpiling, or?
Yes, everything would be up on that existing driveway right now. So I'm thinking that in terms of that washout area that you're asking about, I think it's gonna take place up there, but I wanna take a look back at the site to see, the driveway pitches toward Ferry Lane. So I wanna make sure what's out there, so that anything that, we're controlling before it runs out into the roadway.
There's no existing storm catch basins out there on that, on Ferry Lane, entering that driveway. There's no basins
I don't
out there
think
on
there
the
is.
curb?
I think everything kind of drains around, goes, everything drains downhill in this direction. And what I've noticed is that there are several drain inlets on their driveways, right here,
Okay.
on their driveway as it comes in. So any runoff from storms probably finds its way around the driveway and goes out into the lake in this area. So we'll have to make sure those are protected as part of that.
Also, the septic system. You showed on the drawing, you boxed an area out, that the approximate location of the septic system. What I'd like to do is, I'd like for you, prior to the start of work, take that, do a 10-foot offset off there, stakes, no vehicles over there, don't want anything heavy.
Cordoned off with
Cordoned
construction
off
fence.
with construction fence.
Yeah.
Good idea.
You've got so much impervious there between the house, driveways all around. Would you consider doing something, would the homeowner consider doing something a little smaller?
We talked about it, and I think the issue is, we even talked about maybe removing some of the patio, and the response was that they do a lot of entertaining there, and they do use that area. They did want to maintain as much of the lawn area as possible between, that's existing out there now. For the most part, we do. To be honest with you, from in the discussions I've heard, I think they have done a pretty good job at keeping that terrace to a minimum, but still have it in a layout that's functioning, that they can get some lawn chairs and be able to walk around the pool safely. So I don't know if they could make the terrace much smaller in that area. It is pretty much kind of.
Is this a saltwater pool or chlorine?
It's going to be a saltwater pool. And I looked into that tonight before I came in. My understanding is that the pool water is treated with salt.
Right.
And it's run through a generator that converts it to chlorine for disinfection. And I'm just relaying this information. As long as they continue to add the treatment, it will generate the chlorine. At the end of the year, at the end of the season, what they do is stop applying the treatment, and then the chlorine dissipates, and there isn't any residual left. So if there will be some drawdown for winterizing the pool, there shouldn't be any residual in that, and that water would be directed to our rain garden area. I did check on the filter system. It's going to be a looped cartridge system, doesn't require any backwashing, and it's my understanding that the cartridges are just,
Disposable.
they're just disposable. They would just throw them out. You can clean them and use them again, but they told me they're gonna just probably dispose them at the end of every year. They just get taken out and thrown in the trash.
All right,
So the chemicals that are required for the salt generator, are they gonna be, is there any
It's just a bag
idea?
of salt. Salt. It's salt.
Right, so if you're storing a bag of salt out here, right near the rain garden, and,
Oh, it'll kill the plants.
right,
Well,
so,
the salt would.
I can note on the plan that we'll store the chemical in our mechanical space. The mechanical space is at the base of the steps coming down along the side of the house. So if you're coming down the steps
over here.
and turn to the left, there's some AC units. Our existing well is there.
Right.
And there's a door that goes right into a room in there where they
Okay.
store all of their furniture
That's the
right
pump
now.
house is
Okay.
gonna be there?
Excuse me?
The pump house for the pool will be
No.
over there?
No, we're gonna put they did check that.
near the rain garden.
It's gonna take up too much space, I guess, in that room, so they're gonna install the equipment on the pad, which is over on the opposite side of the pool,
Okay.
I guess the eastern side.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I was talking about this, because all the pool equipment is literally a couple of feet from where the proposed rain garden is. So, understanding that there's bags of salt that's going to be needed for this, my concern there, exactly what you just said. You have bags of salt sitting out over the summer, it rains, all the salt is going to be going right into the rain garden.
The salt is gonna be undercover, I would assume.
Well, that's what he's
Okay.
Let me ask,
stored over there.
this has a well, correct?
Yes, it does.
Okay, and I can see we're about 10 feet away, 15 feet away from, it's located in the corner of the house. You're not afraid of fouling the screen on that? I mean, you're not, I don't know how deep that well is, just
I do not know
pointing
how
it
deep
out.
is. Yeah, I don't know. We did make sure that we could find that, as well as confirm the, general area for the septic.
That's
and
another area you're gonna put some fence around.
we'll protect it.
That side, it's probably not deeper than 80 to 100 feet.
Probably not.
No, the lake is,
If you're going down, what's the depth of the pool? 10, 12?
I think it's gonna be about 8 to 10 feet.
So you probably,
And we're elevated, so we're up a
probably
little
just
bit.
be in the riser anyway, so you should be good. I would just protect the well.
Sure.
And there's no other things you're doing, the boat slip's staying, the docks are left alone.
Nothing in the back is gonna be touched. All of our work will pretty much take place from the terrace area over to below the pool. There's really no reason for anybody to go behind the house per se.
Where'd that permit go?
Anybody else have anything?
So this says construction of the swimming pool with spa. What is the,
Within the pool itself,
That little,
area that's gonna be associated with the pool.
got it, okay.
That falls within that 16 by 40 area.
Is the size,
Basically
did
a
you
hot
verify
tub.
the setback with the building department? Because you'll need a building permit as well, the 10-foot.
Yes, we
I
did.
thought it was more for a pool for some reason. on
Well,
the
you're gonna
side yards.
verify if we need zoning board approval.
Yes, we will. Well,
We
yeah,
need to
we looked
verify
to
that.
see, but my understanding was from the documents I reviewed and in speaking with the engineer that for swimming pools, it was 10 feet for everything, equipment, terraces, and
All right, does anybody else have anything?
Can you explain we didn't really go through the planting plan. Can you explain what's going on with that?
Sure. I'll do the best I can. I didn't prepare this.
Okay.
But the idea is that there is a house right here next door to us. So as we pull out of this area, the plan was to beef up the screening between the pool and the neighbor's house up in this area. And that's gonna be a combination of, I believe, arborvitae, viburnum, and some Norway spruce to this area. In the lower area, I think it's gonna be smaller shrubs and grasses that are gonna be the planting for the rain garden and the separation between the garden and the property line. There are several trees that are in this area right now. 40-inch oak in the front, that's gonna remain, we're gonna protect that. And there's an arborvitae here that we're gonna protect.
How are you gonna be protecting them?
To put a mesh around it.
We're gonna put fence around, but we're also gonna bring in mulch and matting to build up over the root system. We've done this before, and that'll allow the vehicles to pass through that area.
Got it.
And there's not gonna be a lot of traffic, I believe, going back and forth over this area to get down and move the material maybe up around it. But within this area, there are 4 trees that have to be removed. There is a 16-inch and a 20-inch maple, a 14-inch arborvitae, and a 20-inch maple that's down near the rain garden.
You need to show those on here.
They're on the survey.
survey.
Conditions.
But you need to show that they're being removed.
Okay, we'll mark that to be removed.
And if you could also put on, perhaps even on the last page here, the planting schedule that you're having? I mean, actually, does it say in here
right here.
exactly?
Planting schedule's on the
Got it.
planting
Didn't see
plan.
that.
It's right there.
Yeah. but
So you're
thank
gonna
you.
okay, it's on there.
Yep.
But that's gonna change. Because he's only basing his calculations on 1,700 square feet.
Right, okay.
Not 7,700. So that rain gun is gonna
It'll
probably
increase.
get bigger,
Okay.
maybe
about-
double.
trees, you gonna cut many trees?
Yes, there's gonna be 4 trees that are removed.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, and put it on that.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to assume, based on the timing on how they want to use this, that the turf areas, the lawn areas are probably going to be sodded. So we'll get that stabilization very quickly and not waiting for it to germinate and develop a lawn area. I'm assuming
So
that's
you're
what's
gonna have irrigation installed?
that, I don't know, but I would assume that there's going to probably be, I would assume it's sod, but I can confirm that.
Okay, does anybody have anything else?
Are there any So there's overhead utilities here. Are there any other utilities on site? Do they have gas, or is there any underground lines or pipes that are anywhere near where you're gonna be constructing?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't believe we have any gas in our area. We are proposing a utility trench that will run from the mechanical room to our equipment pad, and that's gonna run in front of our retaining wall, our low retaining wall in the front of the pool.
Okay. Is that on the map?
Yes, it is. We did show that.
So you're putting drainage in?
We're gonna put in drain inlets around the terrace, and that will capture that water from the impervious surface and direct that toward the rain garden.
And that's that gray pipe into the grain garden, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, you need to just let me know it's ADS?
Yes, it is. PVC or ABS, we'll check.
You need to show that.
We'll give you the size and the material on the pipe that's going
That's what
from the
I
drain
need.
inlets to the rain garden.
That's what I need. And that may change subject to, again, rain garden calcs.
Yes.
Give them quite a little laundry list tonight.
Yeah.
You have that you'll remove the earthen berm on there, right?
I will take that off.
Take that off.
All right, so just to recap, the 100-foot buffer on the plan, you need to verify if we need zoning board approval. You're gonna put a spill plan and a spill kit on site. You have to show it on the plan. You need to show the fueling area. Then for the heating oil tank removal, you need to show us to verify the size of the tank. Provide tickets of the tank being disposed and all the residuals. Remove all lines and make sure there's no contamination. Follow the DEC protocol for tank removal. Provide calcs for the rain garden for 77, based on 7,700 square feet. You're gonna base that number on the largest number that you're disturbing.
Okay?
So if that 7,700 goes to 10,000, that's the number you go.
We're gonna look to reduce that. If I can show based on our,
Well, if you look at 16 by 40 across, they're gonna dig,
we're gonna be digging this whole area in here, which is about, even going back, it's gonna be about, in this area, probably about 2,000 square feet, maybe 2,500 at the most, in terms of this area that's gonna be disturbed. We can probably capture this and get it into this area. What I would probably do is reduce the disturbance that we've shown going behind the back of the house and keep everything just in this area. And then whatever we disturb behind the pool, we'll capture that and get it over.
just make sure you show us the calculations, how you came up with that number,
Okay.
okay?
So how do you end up with a
Right.
16 by 40 pool that ends up at 7,000?
Because you gotta, because, but all the excavation he's doing of the berm in that area, right, length, width, height, depth, comes out to 7,700, plus the stockpile in the back.
Yeah, we've shown it, if you look on the plan, there's a dashed line that we feel would be, any area that would be disturbed as a result of that construction.
Right, that's what I need to know.
Three sides.
Add additional silt fence between the lake and the work site, as well as around the property, but if you set up your meeting with our wetlands inspector, if he feels the one on between the properties isn't needed, it's not a deal killer, but I do want the double one between you and the lake.
Yes, we'll
Okay.
take care of that. Mhm.
Provide us with a construction sequencing. Provide location for concrete washout, what you're gonna do with concrete washout for the gunite. Though I think that's just a portable mixer, right? It's not a concrete truck, that's a
For what?
bags.
For what?
The gunite.
I've seen it
Oh,
both
no,
ways.
it's done with a gun and a
gun.
big compressor on usually a concrete truck, especially for a pool this
gunite.
size.
Gunite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a specialized truck.
Mark out the septic system, cordon it off. Put a note on there, storing materials for the saltwater pool adjacent to the building. Protect the well, show the trees that are to be removed, and show the size and type of piping for the drain. All right?
That's great. I really appreciate you going through that with us. Now, in terms of, would you happen to have the date for your next meeting? I'd like to try and have,
Magic, we like to have surprises. March.
First Thursday
For 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, so it's the first and third Thursday of every month.
March 3rd.
March 3.
March 3.
3-3.
3.
Was there anything that additional we needed for the SWIP, or was that acceptable?
You need to also submit the SWIP.
Yes, we will include that as well.
You won't get your permit until the SWIP's approved, so what I suggest is you submit a copy of the SWIP to us, or two, and then give one to the town engineer for his review.
Okay.
See, I missed that.
And, you know, our SWIP does talk about,
Well, because right now you're at 7,700, you know, it's more than 5,000, and 5,000 is
Yes.
the magic number. So,
I don't think I can get this below 5,000. I'm not going to be able to.
I don't either, but I'm here to help. So you need to verify if you need zoning board, and then with a building department permit, I guess we could approve this before you get building department, but you're not gonna be able to start without a building department permit anyway, so, and that's it. And there's probably gonna be an escrow involved.
Yes, okay.
And, like I said, get Dave out there, he's very accommodating, and, that's it.
That's fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I don't feel that this was abrasive at all. I really don't.
Thank God.
All right, we'll take care of those things
Thank
then.
you.
Thank you.
Probably because I'm medicated. All right, next item is
Minutes.
minutes, 2/4/16, that was, everybody was here.
We all hear that?
Think so?
Yeah, so do I have a motion to accept the meeting minutes for February 4th, 2016?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, unless there's no new business, can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, have a good night.